Hi all, welcome back to some more Unconditional Surrender. This is training scenario 4 and this will be my part 8 of the playthrough. About to move on to game turn December 1939. It's that far away up the map there. Stretching to actually get my eyes to adjust to that. So December 1939, so last month of the first year. I'll just try to move things about for the Germans now, getting preparation for Denmark and Norway, and then after that, hopefully in the spring, going across into Netherlands, Belgium and France. I was just watching back on the, actually it's only part 4 that I'm watching back, or 5 is it? Maybe 5. And anyway, when we eventually conquered Poland, didn't think I was going to be able to do it because of the weather. I just noticed a couple of things that some of you might have picked up on. One, rather oddly, at the time, remember how I said, was it the 2nd Panzer unit was not on a transport line? Well, he was actually, I think it was this hex here he was in. Pretty sure it was, yeah. Because he was the one that advanced after combat when we pushed the other unit back, and I chose to move him off that transport line onto a non-transport line. Just thought that was kind of funny, like when I done that. Not a huge big deal, but you could see how something like that might have mattered if you needed to then move it quickly in the next turn, once you'd done what you'd done. And not only that, was that I didn't realise at the time, and we had the other Panzer unit up there, sitting up here, I think, with the possibility of rushing along and maybe having a go at the garrison unit here. However, Warsaw did fall, the unit retreated out, but with me making this attack first and shoving this guy from here back, it then enabled me to get another unit in here adjacent to Warsaw, and I could have had an assault of 3 units rather than the 2 that I'd done. So I was kind of lucky. Looking back on that, if I had failed, I would have been kicking myself, because that extra +1 from the other Panzer unit, and I checked it, and I thought at first, do I have the movement to get down, because it was like 5 movement to actually attack into the hex. But the Panzer unit, I want to say it was sitting here. It would have been 1, 2, 3, 4. I think it worked out 5 movement actually, so maybe it was in there. Or was it there? Whatever, it cost them 5 to get down to there, and they would have had 5 left to be able to carry out the attack. However, we did manage to do it with just the 2 units, so which was quite good. Okay, right, let's move on to the start of the turn then, and yeah, we're going to have some more weather then, aren't we, Grant? We are indeed. Right, so for the weather this time, we are in December. So, December to February, there's no chance of it being fair in the cold or mild zone. And there's one chance in the warm zone. So, let's just roll the dice and see what we get. Oh, we get nice low numbers now. Not when it's going to matter, I don't think. So we've got a 3 there. We've got a 1 here and a 1 here. So let's see what they are. So we've got poor in the cold zone, poor in the mild zone, and actually we are getting fair in the warm zone. So poor, 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 and it's this one that's fair. So there we go. So not bad. I mean, poor at least lets you do something. But I mean, this lasts till February, so there's no chance of getting fair weather until March, and that's a slim chance at a roll of a 1. So yeah, I want to say that we can still maybe do the Denmark bit though in poor weather. Well, we're going to have to work that one out and make that decision, because if you're going to declare war, that's where we're at right now, isn't it? Right, anyway, that's the weather set. Yeah, I was away having a little look at things. There was a recent post, the last day or so, might have even been today, to be honest, but the guy was asking about the whole fact of the early days of the war here, where the UK and the French and basically the Western faction basically don't do an awful lot. They don't have much to do at all. That's what I'm starting to realise, that maybe this is maybe not the best scenario for me to have chosen because of that. Because it turns it into quite a nice, comfortable solo experience. So I'm maybe not getting to see what I'm needing to see here. Because what I need to see is how I can cope with making decisions for the other faction, like stronger decision than what I'm having here, not mean while I put the ground support in just now. I mean, like, should we start moving the units about? We've not really had that, and even when you go to conquer France, although French have quite a few units, there's not an awful lot that you can really do. Well, not at my level of play, shall we say. So anyway, but one of the other things that got replied in it was Mark. His name's registered to the game somewhere. Mark Day, is it? Mark Day, if I'm pronouncing it right. Developer of the game. He had replied to that with a couple of sort of things. I've not got it in front of me to read out, but he did mention that when the Axis, if they go and if they declare war on Denmark and Norway, the British could go and have something to say about that. So I'm thinking, right, okay, how does that mean? It clearly comes about from the BEF, this home fleet and this convoy making some move towards, basically making the move towards Denmark. Yeah, I mean, I dare say they could. And here's the thing about me wondering about what to do right now. I mean, Denmark is a neutral country at the moment. So my understanding is I can't take the BEF in its convoys, escorted by that fleet, and come around here and land in Aalborg, for instance, right now, because it's a neutral country. So I can't do that. My understanding is the difficult part I'm finding is when could I do that? I mean, okay, if Germany went in there and took Aalborg, would that entitle me to then move? Then it would have to be an amphibious assault done. So I would need to have the same as the Germans, the strategic. What is it? Is it up on the turn track as well? Yeah, surprise attack, but they don't get that until July. Whereas the Germans get it in January. So I'm not sure how. I mean, he's saying that they could do something about this. I'm just not sure how they can. That's all. And it's these things that it's bits like this where you're talking about moving stuff across the sea, landing on places, and I don't think they can move to Denmark just now, the British. But then again, they can come across to France. But then France are an allied country, whereas Denmark is still neutral. There's no units there. Anyway, I suppose me talking about that, and if I do get the right people watching this that have some better idea of how that works, maybe you can help me out with that and what's been meant by. Let me get his comment. So without reading the whole question from a Francoise, it's titled "Western and USSR Factions Useless Spectators as the War Begins." and you can see what he's saying here. He says, when playing the whole war three fractions, long scenario, starting September 39, am I wrong saying the Western USSR factions can't do much until the German faction decides so, or until late 1942? I suppose I maybe need to read this. The USSR can't do much until the Nazi-Soviet pact ends. They can't enter Germany mainland. Carries on, if the historical setup is chosen, Poland began as a Western faction, France and UK start at war with the Germans. However, Western units can't technically attack German units in their mainland area. Yeah, and that's to do with the whole Nazi-Soviet pact, isn't it? Maginot Fort line forbids any move from the forts, and Western, French or UK units can't cross the Maginot Line as it would lead to an illegal overstacking. Yeah, okay. Technically, there's no way for Allied units to attack German units in German territory until they open new roads, either through Belgium or Denmark, for instance. So unless new roads become available or the Germans decide to invade the West, there's nothing much the Western faction can do either. To summarise, until the Germans decide to invade the West Front or declare war to the USSR, the Allies in USSR can't do much but to draw event tails and hope for positive outcomes. Am I missing something? So, so Mark replies, and there was a couple of things that jumped out for me in this playthrough. That's mostly accurate. The West can intervene in Denmark/Norway if the Axis declares war on them, but that may weaken their defence of France. So that point is what I was talking about right now. So he's saying that they can intervene in Denmark and Norway. Like I say, I'm not sure why. We don't get that surprise attack marker till July. So I don't know. I would have thought that if the Germans take Denmark, the only way we're going to get to attack Denmark back from the sea anyway is to have to amphibiously assault the Denmark, you know. I don't know, I'm clearly missing something there. And like he's saying, it sounds to me like it means the BEF is getting drawn up there rather than being able to be used in France. So I'm saying I'm not going to do any of that because, to be honest, I'm not quite understanding how it's done as well. And that's the whole point of bringing that up here. He carries on though, let's just finish, there's not an awful lot of this. If Italy activates as Axis very early, then the combined might of French and UK forces can usually remove the Axis from Africa before the fall of France. So, yeah, what that means is, if Italy activate really early, become an Axis ally, then there'll be some Italian units will end up down in North Africa, but because the French are still not conquered yet, then I understand there'll be French units down in Africa as well, along with the British units. Then that might give them something to do. So maybe if we had tried to bring Italy along, then that would have been a bit more interesting. But I think the fact that the new rules seem to suggest that you need 3 political successes basically to activate Italy makes it a lot tougher here, I think. He says it's also possible for the French and UK... Oh, this was the other bit, yeah. It's also possible for the French and UK to conduct airstrikes into Germany, but as long as the Germans maintain forces in front of the Maginot Line. I'm not quite sure what... But as long as the Germans maintain forces in front of the Maginot Line. I'm not quite sure why that condition allows the French and UK to conduct airstrikes, but... He says then the Allies won't be able to advance into Germany via that route. Oh, I think what he's saying is that as long as we've got German units down at the Maginot Line, they cannot advance in. But they're not letting me move into Germany anyway, are they? I don't know. Some of this stuff is sticking me a bit. So if anybody's can see where I'm getting stuck and know the way to unstuck me, then yeah, let me know by all means. Okay, so we'll leave that just now, and you know, because I don't really know how to do the Denmark thing. Not really sure how to go about it. We're just going to leave that and let the Axis get on with it, and we're just going to concentrate on trying to defend France. And I think I started thinking about that because I thought, here's me talking about, well, we might be able to, even though the weather's poor and we don't have any air support, we don't have an air unit at all, and remember, we can't bring them across. So, but I'm still thinking, yeah, we could probably still go into Denmark and take Denmark. I mean, Denmark has one garrison unit. That's all it has. And it's only got two national will, I think. Two national will. Well, that'll be in the... no, it's at the back of the rule book, actually. The back of the rule book tells you about all the countries. Well, not at the very back, but... So Denmark has a national will of 2, only has one factory. And it's just got one unit that would set up. I think when it sets up, I want to say in the actual training scenario, does it not just set up here? Let me see. Yeah, it does. But I mean, you could set it up where you want. I think you could set it up in this hex or this hex. Does it really matter? Probably not. It does mean that if you set it up there, they've got to move in one hex, so it costs them 1 to move in. So I suppose that makes sense. And you don't want it. Well, actually, wouldn't you be better setting it back up there, maybe? And then it's costing even more movement points for them. Because they can't move. Oh, yeah, they could move from there to there. If that was in there, because that's not got a land hex side, has it? So yeah, so you would have to set it up there. Because you don't want to set it up there and then they just say, alright, okay, well, we'll just come in here and go right along there, take Copenhagen, and that's it. That's you. So yeah, I think we can do this. You know what? This is just a learning thing, and it's still, I guess that's maybe why I wanted to do this one, because it's called a training scenario and feels like you can get away with doing things like this. If you're getting them wrong, basically. But yeah, the main reason is to start the war off and see how I'm doing, and if sometimes you start these games off and you've missed some really crucial mistake and it's a huge big one and you keep doing it all the time, and then somebody comes in and chimes in and says, you've been doing that wrong. And if I was doing the whole sort of war thing from the beginning, I'd feel bad and probably have to restart and whatever. So right, let's declare war on Denmark. Yeah. Right, well, what happened? Denmark isn't set up, but then I think when we actually declare war on Poland, initially the Poland units aren't set up. You then set them up, don't you? Right. Yeah, so when war is declared on a country, it's activated and joins an enemy faction per country activation. So 13.1, does that mean it might... when a country activates, determine the faction it joins. Remove any, let's set up. A rule or event that activates a country may state which faction it joins. If it does not state which faction, to do the following. If an allied faction declared war, it joins the Axis. Right, okay. If the Axis faction declared war, check the following in order. If the country contains a pro-Soviet or pro-Western marker, it joins that allied faction. Right, fair enough. If appeasement is in effect, no. Appeasement is not in effect, neither is Nazi-Soviet Pact or Moscow Treaty are in effect, it joins the Western faction. Yeah, so Denmark would join the Western faction if we declare war. So, okay then. So that does then mean that it's an allied country, Grant. So that's why the British can go across. However, if the Germans steamroll in here and just wipe it out before the British get to activate, then surely that does mean that it's not going to be so easy, and they need to get an amphibious assault, don't they? Maybe that's how it works out. Because there's no guarantees that I'm going to go in here and be able to take this out. Yep, let's just do it as you think, Grant. So we're going to declare war on Denmark. So, activating a country. That country is immediately set up before the next declaration of war is made. Okay, so 13.1. Country set up. The activated countries, units. Right, hang on. Might as well try and show some of the stuff that I'm reading. The activated country units and markers are placed as follows. National world markers put in the national world track. Production markers put in the production chart. Event markers put in its faction's event. Owning faction chooses one of the two setup methods below and places the country's units as indicated. They're just what if counters. We're not playing with any of them. Off map setup means they go in the mobilization box. On map setup, first look at the country setup special cases. None of them are going to apply. I think they're just for like, yeah, they're for French North Africa, Syria, or Vichy. So none of that applies. If it does not apply, place activated countries counters as follows. A ground unit is placed at full strength in a land hex. An air unit is placed with no sorties in a city for or transport line hex. The naval unit is placed with no sorties in a port hex. All placements must be within the activated country's mainland and or overseas areas. Units may set up stacked but cannot violate stacking limits. Unit must be placed in a hex from which it is able to trace the supply line. And basically, yeah, that's it, really, I think. Yeah. Yeah, Italy's also one that is a special case. So French North Africa, Syria, or Vichy, and then, or Italy would be sort of special cases here. Right, okay. Right, so like I say, where did I put the counters? There is only, there's not an awful lot here. There's 3 counters. So we have our national will, which is going to be just 2. So there's Denmark's national will. They do have a production marker. It was just 1 factory, wasn't it? I said. Denmark, yeah, 1 factory. Oh, wait a minute. One of them was wrong, wasn't it? No. There was a rata from, I think that was from a way back. I think my book, my 2nd edition was alright. The national will wasn't quite right for, it might have just been, was it Belgium and the Netherlands maybe? That were showing a national will of 3 maybe? I've got Belgium as 2 in here, Netherlands as 2. Norway's showing 3. Maybe I should have a glance at the up-to-date rules for that. Let me have a quick glance. Yeah, I would say that was maybe older out of that then. So Belgium's 2, Denmark's 2, Netherlands is 2, and Norway is in fact 3. That's what's shown in the up-to-date rulebook. So I think there maybe was a discrepancy back, maybe in the first edition or something. Okay, so we've got a production marker here that we can put on as well, for Denmark of 1 factory. And then this is our unit, like I say, just a garrison unit for the Danes. So yeah, I think it probably makes more sense putting it there. It means they've got to move in 1, and I need to protect that side as well. But I mean, in fact, yeah, I mean, all they need to do is get you retreat 1, so Grant, like I've said, I think I can move from there to there. Although, hold on. If these are a straight, am I allowed to move along that straight? And maybe not, because it's still an enemy country to me. Maybe that's what stops that. Straight naval movement. No, it's not a naval movement here. No, I think it's maybe just, yeah, naval units can't move across straits. Ground move, it costs +2 for a straight hex side. I mean, you must be able to move from that to that because there's a transport line, you know. Well, in actual fact, hold on, Grant, yeah, that's not going to cost you anything extra, is it? Yeah, I think I'm starting to do what I'm prone to do sometimes is overthink this and whatever. So yeah, I think you can just go along that, travel along that transport line into Copenhagen. Obviously, that last step of the move there would cost you the cost to move into the city, and you wouldn't get it for like just 1 point because you're going along the transport line. Okay. So yeah, we're going to set that up like that, and we'll see how it goes. And if I've got something wrong, then no doubt we'll find out about it. Because I mean, I can't really go any further than Denmark until we get clear weather, because I know for sure we can't do an amphibious operation, an amphibious landing in. Oh well, mind you, we're in poor weather, aren't we? We can't do it in severe weather. I want to say though that doing it in poor weather is probably too risky as well, isn't it? Well, we will see. We'll just try for the Denmark thing. Right, I need to pause for a little bit just now, so I'll be back in a bit. Right, back being away. I'll pause for a little bit there. I'm just noticing, you know how I've put that there to start with. Actually, would be maybe better with it there, because I'm realising we've got to attack with assault. So, and although I can move 1 unit into here and 1 unit into here at the moment, if this guy was in here or here, I wouldn't be able to make that move, and I'd only be able to assault with 1 unit, because we've already said that's not a viable crossing, is it? So it kind of makes more sense doing that, doesn't it? Yeah, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to backtrack that a little and put him in there. I think I can do that. I think you can put him wherever you want. I think in that scenario, that's where he starts off, whether that's a sort of or rather historical setup of it, or whether they just do that in the... Yeah, I mean, they don't have a setup hex, do they? You just put them where you want. But I think that's where we're going to put it. So, yeah, that's going to cause trouble, because we are going to be attacking... That's not across anything, so it's into a clear hex. But it is going to be an assault attack, so we're just going to be able to use that 1 unit, and that's going to be it. And if that fails, then that's me stuck. I'm going to have to wait until next turn to try it again. And I suppose that's when the British could possibly come around and land here. Assuming now that this is an allied country, they'd be able to just go and land there, wouldn't they? And the Germans, they've got a convoy here, but they don't have anything that could interfere with. They don't have any kind of surface fleet. Hold on, do they not have a? They do have a surface action. So they do. So they could try and intercept it, right enough. I think generally they want to keep that to be able to make their move towards Oslo as well. They want to use the convoy and the surface action, to do that so that the British are not tempted. Well, to be honest, the British, where they are, they can go, it's 2 sea zones, isn't it? So they can only go 1, 2, so they can't actually get any sea zone 12. Yeah, well, they can't then, can they? Doesn't matter where they are around Britain, or even around here in Hull. The first move is into sea zone 2, and the second is into sea zone 11. Whereas the invasion of Norway is just within sea zone 12. So yeah, so I don't think they can do anything about that. Okay, well, I've done this now, and we'll just get on with it. Right, so where were we at? That's us declared war then. That's all we're declaring war on. We're not going to declare war on Norway as well just yet, because we're definitely not ready for that. So the next phase is economy. So the Germans, remember, they gained a factory recently, didn't they? That eventually realised. So what are they on? They're on 14, so it's 28. And the French and British still the same. French are on 8, 16. British are on 9, which is 18. Yeah, and then the Danes just have the 1. Now, when we are setting this up, if we wanted to, one of the things you can do is give your minor countries an extra production. You could remove one. I could remove one from, I think it must just be the UK actually. So I could remove one from the UK to give one to the Danes if I wanted to do that. But the Danes only have 1 unit anyway, so there's not any need to do that. But sometimes that can be helpful for them. Okay, strategic warfare. No. And one of the reasons, I came across this when I was looking for some things, that one of the reasons you're wanting to get Norway is to get something. Is it having something in this sea zone? So having a unit in, oh no, it's an air unit you need, isn't it? Is that the one that needs the air unit? Oh, hang on, it tells you on the. It's something that gives you a +1 to your strategic. What we're trying to do just here, strategic warfare. Well, we're not going to do it just yet, but it just got me thinking about it. Strategic combat dice roll modifier. Yeah, if you've got an Axis port in sea zone 1, 2, 7, or 9. Well, that's 3 grants, so it's not that one. 1, 2, 7, or 9. Yeah, they're quite tough to get. That's all around the UK. 1, 2, 7, and 9's all around the UK. So no, I'm not going to get that one. An Axis air unit in a port in sea zone 3 or 4. That's sea zone 3. So it's like having an air unit in there. Problem with that is that's like an air unit you've got out of your, way up there, out of the way, isn't it? That gives you an extra +1 to your strategic combat die roll modifier. And then there's also the Germans have the submarines, which halves the die roll of the Western faction when you're rolling against them. Yeah, it just seems like hard to have an air unit stuck away up there, out the way for all that time, just to give you that extra +1 die roll modifier. But anyway, not only that, we need to have 2 extra countries. We need to get 4 countries, and targets being Belgium, Netherlands, Denmark, and Norway, to achieve our goal in this scenario. So we'll plod on with that. Right, so there's no strategic warfare still because factory loss markers have not arrived yet. And that's not going to kick in until we move into Netherlands or Belgium or France. So strategic movement, well, do we have a need for that? Well, this can come back. That's what we used last turn. So that basically just goes back and goes in the event box again. And we can use it now if we want. Well, I suppose we should move... well, we've got the 1, 2, 3 that we need to cross here and the 2 air units. So, and we've got that first Panzer sitting up here. So why don't we just, well, you don't really need to strategically move it though, Grant, do you? We really want it in Aachen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, wait now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That brings it in the Aachen actually. Yeah, so that's just the activator. I suppose it means you don't have to spend the production to move. Does it? Yeah, I don't think it costs you production to do that, does it? No, so I suppose that's a plus to it, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think it costs anything to do it, so... well, why not just do it then, Grant? It does mean that you're restricted to be able to do things when it gets there. But, I mean, it's not that it needs repaired or anything like that. Okay, let's just do that then. Not that I need all my production points, though, as well. That's the other thing. So, I will bring that right away around down into Aachen. Right, hang on. I'll put it like that with the strategic move on top, although I'm going to switch these across now. Yeah, that's it. That's what I've done before, wasn't it? So remember to do that. I like the air units on the top. Okay, so we'll do that. And the Western, yeah, they're not going to bother. No, yeah. It's kind of one-sided affair, this, isn't it? It's all about... Well, yeah, I'm enjoying it up to now anyway, so that's good, isn't it? So strategic movement done, right, into the operations phase then. So, well, the one thing we're going to try and do is this then, so let's just try and do it right away, I suppose. Now remember, we've not got air support. Oh, hang on, can we not benefit from the tanks, so? Yeah, we can. Grr. We're going to still get a +1 from the tanks, aren't we? Because it's... Yeah, so I've got them round the wrong way. That's annoying. Well, I can move them. Okay, so I'm going to spend 1... Oh, no, hang on. Yeah, well, I can't move them into that hex. That's fine. I'll just spend 1 to move this guy back. And then finish his activation there. Rather wasteful, I know, but... Right, hang on. That is... Why was I thinking that wasn't going to be any movement? No, because he was already in there, isn't he? So that costs a +2 to move into. Well, it doesn't matter. We're only doing an assault anyway. So then I'm going to activate the first Panzer. Because, yeah, we're going to get a +1 out of him. So that costs 2. And then he's going to... Because this is the start of his activation. He's in the zone of control. He can move away. So he's going to move 1, 2, and then I want to say 3, 4, 5, because it's 2 across that straight as a ground movement. It's +2 across the straight, +1 for the clear hex. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to reach there. And then he is then going to attack, and well, that will be his activation over after that. It's only a clear hex, and that's just the border bit, so there's nothing doing there. Yeah, so, and when I say attack, I mean, of course, assault attack. Because it's poor weather, and that's the best we're going to get. Okay, well, might as well just resolve that now. Right, so many things about it here, but that might be annoying because now I would have had a unit in here. I bet if this falls, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. See, I can't do it now. That's annoying. Couldn't you go along to Copenhagen? No, it's probably the same. Well, let's see what happens to the attack anyway first, Grant. Yeah, I didn't get my dice yet. I thought I would have got them delivered yet, so I've not got my wee negative dice, which would have been quite nice. So, what have we got here? So we can only use assault attack because it's poor weather. So the Germans are going to get a +2 for being German. They're going to get a +1 for a tank in poor weather. So that's going to be 3. I think that's going to be it. No, sorry, it's not going to be it. He is a reduced unit, but he's not. We're not getting the isolated thing, so it's not a city. We're not attacking across the area. We're not getting air support. This is the one that's been changed to a -1, so it's -1 for attacking a unit in a hex affected by poor weather. So it's a 2. So we're going to get a +2. Now they are going to get a -2 because they are they're a reduced strength unit, and that's going to be that. Because there's also no there's no events that we can run here. Just wondering if that airdrop marker, but I will keep that anyway. The British have 2 tanks, yeah, but that's just for a British unit, isn't it? Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they would need to have the ground support markers, but they got sent on the back on the track quite a bit, so they got used earlier on. So there's a +2 to the Germans and a -2 to the Danes. So I suppose there is a good chance of winning this. Well, let's just find out. So again, the Axis are the grey dice, and the Danes will be the blue dice. So that looks pretty bad for the Danes, I think. So a 6 plus a 2 is 8, and a 2 minus 2 is well, it can only drop to 1. It can't drop any lower than 1. So that's where we're at. Oops, damn it. That's a DD. Yeah. So that means he takes a step. Well, that's the worst result. He was hoping for a result, a DR at worst. So he is eliminated, and no, Denmark, don't collapse yet, Grant. Calm down. So that's an eliminated unit. Put in the eliminated units box, but so we can advance after combat there. I don't think I'm going to bother because we don't want the panzers going in there anyway. But yeah, frustratingly, if I'd set things up properly, we would have had the infantry unit in, well, either here or here, and being able to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7, 8, and take Aalborg. But now the only unit I can use is this, because I moved that guy, changed them about, the only guy I can use is this. So, okay, well, we'll send him up, and we need to activate him then. So we're not advanced enough to combat. We're going to activate the 12th Infantry Army, and go 1, 2, 3, 4. It's two extra across the straight, so it cost me 3 to move in there. So 4, 5. Yeah, I mean, even going, I'm not getting across the Copenhagen either. 6. Well, I'm a better, because all I want to do is really take these, gain control of them, and then move the unit back again. I mean, okay, that is leaving an empty port sitting there for the British to maybe, but the fact they don't have this surprise attack marker. I mean, right now, the fact Norway's still alive, they could make a move. They could make a move in the next turn to go up there. Why don't you maybe just do that? Just, I mean, I'm just trying to learn things anyway. Why not? Well, we'll see. We'll see. So if I leave him, if I left him there, it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I can't really take them both out, so I'm better going. Right, hang on. What was that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, it's just one short. I don't know. That's a pity. Yeah, that was just me not thinking properly though. It turns out the die roll, we wouldn't have needed the panzers after all anyway. The die roll was probably, or was it? Yeah, I think we would have still got the result required. Okay, well, we'll go with that. Right, we'll just leave him there then and see. I'll think about it when I come round to them. Well, it's going to be quite soon, isn't it? Because I think that's all the Germans are doing, isn't it? Well, what about this garrison unit then? Is this going to go anywhere? I don't think this is anything to be. It's really something that you might want to push into the Netherlands, Belgium or France after you've taken control, isn't it? Don't think you want to use that as a fighting unit. I think that's all we're going to do with the Germans. Yeah, and I was just thinking there again about supply, but there's no issues with that, is it? You just trace right down that transport line, it goes into Kiel, and then it's into, well, actually that is a German port, isn't it? So that's fine. Yeah, I don't think I will make this invasion attempt with the British. Well, not so much an invasion, sort of, because I actually think if I'd been smart enough, this should have been taken anyway. So, I'll just, I mean, okay, that was a mistake, but you could see that I should have done it the other way about. I should have made sure that the Panzer was sitting ready to go in. I suppose I was thinking about maybe going in on against severe weather again and knowing that the Panzer wasn't any good. But it turned out to be poor weather, and I should have been thinking about that, and rather than... Yeah, well, yeah, you could argue that both ways, I suppose. Okay, so that's the Axis had its turn. Right, let's quickly get through the rest of this turn, because I don't think we'll be doing much more. So over the western side, again, I don't think there's anything going to happen. I mean, this is when we could do that, I suppose. Still swithering about it. So yeah, I mean, it's just it would just be a transport up to Aalborg and then drop off that BEF. No, I don't think we will do it. Like I say, we'll just leave that for now. Do we want to bring them across to Le Havre or Calais? I still don't think so yet. We'll wait until. Well, mind you, I mean, when the Germans are ready, they might declare war on Netherlands, Belgium, and France all at once, but they're still not going to initially bar through to be able to get. Well, they might, but yeah. No, I'll just leave the rest for now. We won't do any more. So moving on, no supply phase, replacements phase. Right. Well, I don't think there's any of that this time. All the aircraft are back to full strength. Yeah, nothing to do there. Upgrade phase, no mobilization. Yeah, we do have one unit to mobilize. So that cost me 1. It's just an infantry army. That is a full strength one, but it mobilises on its reduced strength side. So we want that close to where we're going to be going. We'll just put in Bremen, will we? Yeah, let's just put that in Bremen. And none of the other factions have anything ready to mobilise. So into diplomacy. Okay, so we've got, you can see there's 6, 9, 8 chits out the cup. So all we've got in the cup this time is, it's a 1 of each. No event, 1 success, 1 failure, and an area seized. That feels like not what the Germans want to be drawing from. But the problem is that if I try and seed the cup now a political success, it then makes it more tempting for more chance of the success for the Western faction, and then we know that the Soviets are going to dive in there because there's an area seized. The other thing is I don't bother seeding the cup at all, and I just don't take anything and see what happens. I don't know what the right thing to do there is, to be honest. It does feel like something that I don't think I should be just passing by and not doing anything about. I was thinking there, if I was the Western faction and the Germans didn't do anything here, then I think what the Western faction might do is put an area seized marker in there. Well, mind you, they are the areas. Some of the areas are giving us a pro access marker, aren't they? So to be honest, the more that they get drawn, might be the better for us. Yeah, because there's 3, is there not 2 or 3 of them that actually give us a pro access marker? So maybe we should just draw out the cup then. Let's go for it. So I'm going to spend 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It feels wrong just to not do nothing. So we've got 1 in 4 chance, really. Because all the rest are not any good. Well, I think the area seized marker wouldn't be that bad for us. So, right, here we go. No, that's what we've drawn. So that means that's out the cup. So that means the Soviets are going to put back in the cup. So let me just double check though that because we've drawn this area seized. There it's there. That was handy. I just flipped to the right page. So when this marker is pulled from the diplomacy cup, if the Nazi-Soviet pact policy is ended, well, it's not, or all disputed areas are ceded to USSR, well, they're not, remove this marker from the scenario and pull another marker. Otherwise, regardless of which phasing faction pulled the marker, select a country with a USSR disputed area that has not been ceded. Oh, hold on, is this us that are getting to pick it? Select a country. Oh. Well, I hadn't thought about that. So that's good. That's good, because we're going to get to pick the country that has not been ceded to USSR and is either neutral or an active Western country with no Axis unit in it. Yeah. If no country meets that disputed area is ceded to the USSR, put a ceded marker in the Western and the Soviet faction. Repatriated. Right, yeah, and here we are with sorry, I maybe should have just been reading that together. But this is the bit that tells us about us benefiting. So we're to skip steps 3 and 4 in this scenario, this training scenario anyway, because the USSR aren't really there, really. Well, they're not involved that much. If the selected country was Estonia, Latvia or Lithuania, it ceases to exist, remove any pro-faction, and remove all counters from the scenario. If the selected country is neutral and is not Estonia, Latvia or Lithuania, do the following. So I've got them here. Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania. So there's 2 of them. We've got Bessarabia and Karelia. So it's not one of the countries. It is neutral. It has no pro-faction marker in it. We're going to put a pro-Axis marker in its capital. So that's given us a chance of... yeah, so what one do we want? I mean, it probably doesn't matter. Bessarabia or Karelia? I want to say that's the one up Finland. It is in Finland. You know what? They're annoyingly... And I'm going to go for the Bessarabia one, I think. I'll just swing across here. Not very professionally. It's just that this is where I've got my player aids. There's Bessarabia there. So I'm going to pick Bessarabia. So that is going to go on the ceded Soviet part. However, we are now going to get a pro-Axis marker. Yeah, that's fine, because I put that in there, and when it's in here, I'm just going to put it in there, so as long as it's in that area. Bessarabia. It's the red bit, of course, yeah. It's there in the red bit, so it's in that little area there. So I'll put it in that. It's just to keep it away from the edge of the player aids there. So now, if we were to get a political success, then we could get right, hold on though. What does that give us? Does that give us them as a country? Is there Bessarabia units? If it has a if it has a pro-Axis marker in it, leave it there. Country stays neutral. Actually, I'm starting to wonder if this does help me, because there's not a country. There's no units for like a Bessarabia. So I'm not quite sure what the benefit of that is then. I don't know. Okay, well, more things to wonder on and find out. Here was me thinking that might be me halfway to gaining. I mean, it's part of Romania, that, isn't it? But I don't think if I get another pro-Axis marker, that then entitles me to have Romania allied to me. Because this is still part of the USSR, so I don't know. Maybe it'll come to me, or maybe I'll work it out later. Right, so it's time for the Western faction to draw. So, or to decide if they're using diplomacy. So they've got a success, a failure, and a no event. So what are they going to do? I don't really think they want to draw out of that. They don't really want to put a success back in though either, because the Soviets are going to put an Area C's marker back in a no event. That's what they're going to do. I think they might just put 2 no event markers back in. Sounds a bit boring. This scenario in particular, they want to stop Germany from getting any ally. It's a bit of a shame that that's a requirement of completing the scenario. I mean, it doesn't really matter to me if that happens or not. So, will we put... Yeah, let's just do it. So, they're going to put a no event marker back in. Right? And then there's also a no event marker that they can put in as well. So, that's going to cost them 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then the Soviets, because there's 2 Area C's markers out the cup, they're going to put one of them back in the cup. And, well, not just because there's 2 out, also they've got seeded areas that's still available to be dealt with. So that goes in the cup, and then because there's a no event marker, that goes in the cup as well. So there's kind of a whole lot of rubbish in the cup now, from an Axis point of view anyway. Okay. That's diplomacy. A bit dull again, nothing exciting happening. Victory check, it's nothing to check there. Advance the turn marker, put in a counter in the enter box, and then move all units and faction cards. Eliminate box to its mobilisation box. So we're moving on to the next year, moving on to 1940. And there's a big stack of stuff in January 1940. So let's go and have a look at what this is. So we've got the surprise attack. We get the 5th Luftwaffe, yeah, and we get the Nord unit. So basically, that's kind of tell you that we're getting this to get ready to invade Norway, really. So all 3 of them. That counter's like so much bigger, taller. Not really noticed that before. That air unit. Such a far bigger counter. That's weird. Must have got caught. Cut differently. Whether there's a whole line of them maybe that are maybe off-sized like that. Not something I noticed before anyway. So the surprise attack marker goes in our events box. And these both go in our mobilisation box. And the Luftwaffe, well, it comes in with 4. I want to say it's 4 sorties on it anyway. So they go in the mobilisation box, and the other guy comes in reduced. Yeah, I think every time you mobilise an air unit or a naval unit, it comes in with 4 sorties. I'll double check that one, but I think it's right. And then finally, if there's any eliminated units, they get moved to the mobilisation box. So we do have this eliminated Norway unit. It's going to go in the mobilisation box. But it's, yeah. Excuse me. Sorry, that's a Danish unit, Grant, not Norway. We're not there yet. But Denmark's going to collapse before they get to mobilise it anyway. So that's that. Right, that's that. Turnover. Yeah, I suppose we're getting through it. Some of you might be saying, no, you're not. It's taking ages. And you're not doing an awful lot. And it is. I'm probably just talking more than I'm doing anything. But right, I'm going to cut that here, but I'm going to come straight back for part 8, which I'll just stop the camera and restart again, actually, rather than bothering copying it across. So, because I've got a bit more time. So I'll be back shortly. Cheers.